Please note that for your information, this conference will now be recorded at this time.
Thank you all for being here. So for those who may not know me, I'm Marcelo Gonçalves, founder of the Aya para Vendas DCS community. I created this community on a whim without any big goals for expansion or scaling it up. And it was really cool because a lot of people liked the idea back at the end of February. Most of you who are here. Oh, by the way, Tiago was the first member of the community because when I worked with Tiago at ARD, I first announced internally at the company that I was going to create this community. Whoever wanted to join, I was going to be the first. Tiago was the first one who agreed to go along with this crazy idea with me. And now this crazy idea has more than 600 members, and we've made a lot of changes to adapt to the model, trying to deliver more and more value, because as we were saying, I think everyone here is in at least 5 groups or communities. So we want to absorb content all the time, but we just don't have the time. But the main goal of the community is fulfilled every day, which is that everyone, it's not just for me to spread information or insights or tips about, hey, thank you. It's for everyone to help and collaborate. So this ecosystem worked perfectly, and here we all are together. I gave this brief introduction about what the community is. Thank you for being here for this first podcast episode. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll even be in a studio, some cool plans for 2026. And now I'll hand it over to those who are with us day to day, running the community, which I don't know if you all knew the faces of the people here. So I'll let each person introduce themselves as well. I think I can start with Barbara. Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are you?
Can you hear me just right now?
Perfect. Yes, absolutely.
I think that's the most said phrase in every call, right? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? But let's keep going here. Guys, I think it's worth telling you a little about myself, how I joined the community and some of the businesses I'm involved in. So I'm a sales strategist and I have over 12 years of experience in the corporate world. I left the corporate world and started my own business 2.5 years ago. So today I have a consulting firm called Baradier, where I work as head of sales as a service for PMS companies. It's very much focused now as a new strategy in the industrial market. So that's where we've been able to achieve more growth. And I think that's even a useful piece of information for you to take as an insight. And now we have a new division that we launched this year, which is the technology arm, where we develop AI agents, automations, and more complex projects like MicroSaaS focused on the sales area. So it was actually very difficult for me when I was working with a client and needed to refer other consultancies to handle development. So we decided to bring it in-house. And I met Marcelo and the people here from the community. I think it was a really happy coincidence because in my journey with AI, it's been at least 3 years now that I've been working with some companies that are developing with AI. So I found Marcelo's community, joined it, and immediately clicked with this team here with all of you. And then we started exchanging ideas about entrepreneurship. What was the name again, Martella? My memory fails me. And that's how the idea of ambassadors and the community was born. And now today, I'm here with you all. We help out, staying here behind the scenes, thinking about how we can bring better content. This podcast format, for example, was something we had been thinking about for a while. We tested a few things with Edners, and now we finally brought it to this recorded format, which will be available. It will be available later on YouTube, so everyone will be able to watch it. Today, I'll be the moderator, so I'll be guiding our conversation and directing our questions. And before we get started and answer the burning question, will AI replace ICS sales? I want to leave a little gift for you all. So I'm going to send it here in the chat, which everyone has access to. We're running a Black Friday campaign at Baradi. Baradi is partnering with PIM. PM is a software, a SaaS SDR agent for small entrepreneurs and small businesses, where it handles the entire workflow from lead generation to enriching that lead, contacting the lead, and scheduling your meeting. In collaboration with Bobby, which is a project I developed, we already have Bobby on the market since May of this year, mainly supporting my mentees, and now we've decided to open it up to the market. Babby is a strategic sales assistant that works directly in your WhatsApp, helping you improve your sales pitch, do role play, analyze PDF proposals, and review PPTs. She helps you craft cadence copy, emails, and prospecting messages. So she's a powerful commercial strategic brain helping you sell more in your daily routine. I'll leave the link for you all. We're going to have a surprise in the next webinar that I'll be hosting next week. So I'm leaving it here for you to try out. Everyone here can try it out for 15 days for free, regardless of whether you'll join the live session or not, and whether you'll continue with both initiatives, okay? So here's this big gift for you. And let's keep going. Next, I'd like to invite Jessica to introduce herself and tell us a little about herself.
Hi everyone, how are you? I think I'll give a quick introduction, and I think I'll already dive a bit into our hot topic, whether AI will actually replace us, because that's something I've been working on a lot, this whole narrative. And I think it's interesting for us to start right here, which is, well, today I'm Jessica. I'm the co-founder of a startup focused on artificial intelligence in the healthcare sector. So today we have an entire structure that operates within the main social networks, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, to solve the pain points of clinics. Who here has never had trouble trying to book an appointment? If so, cast the first stone. We saw this pain point, we understood it. Healthcare professionals didn't learn in college to treat their patients as leads, to treat them as sales. And it's not their fault. They really don't see that in their college education. So we came in with all this commercial intelligence behind us and delivered an artificial intelligence that actually takes those contacts and converts them into patients. So that's our main focus. The company is called First. Literally, before we bring people onto the team, we thoroughly and carefully analyze what we're going to do with the help of advanced AI and what we're going to complement with professionals. And I wanted to start by bringing this up because you see, we're an AI first company. We have an AI agent that handles the contacts, and every client I talk to asks me, okay, can I fire my secretary? I'm exaggerating, not all of them, of course, but I'd say that about 9 out of every 10 people ask, can I fire my secretary? We say no, because we always go into this explanation. Today, that's the main focus at Converte, which is our company, to always educate our clients that we are not the company that will use the narrative that AI is going to replace their professionals, nor are we going to use the narrative, sorry to those who do, that says, look, I fired my whole team and put an AI here to do the job. So we don't go down that path. We take a different approach, which is what? AI will complement what the company is able to do. It can free up the professionals' time so they can focus on other areas because that's necessary. And there are areas within a company where you simply can't implement AI. You need to have a very skilled professional behind it. What is the critical point we identify today, especially with our clients? AI doesn't replace people, but it exposes those who are bad at their jobs. There's no way around it. I have a client who implemented our AI solution and fired the secretary, not to go without one, but they hired a new one with more confidence that she would be able to do the job. Actually, she was trained by the AI because she started there and ended up following the AI's conversations. But the previous secretary was fired because she was really bad at her job. And she was a hostage to that secretary because she had no other option. Nowadays, when it comes to hiring, there's that saying, I don't know if many people have heard it, but we have a saying that goes, hire slow and fire fast. This slow hiring process is what makes things difficult for the clinic and keeps everyone stuck. So a lot of people think, I'll try a little longer, I'll let it slide for now, things are really busy, and then I have to run a Black Friday campaign. No one wants to fire anyone during the Black Friday campaign. Just imagine how complicated that would be. So AI helps give you that breathing room and allows you to stop being held hostage by professionals who aren't good. So that's something I see a lot here at Converti these days. It's something we've been experiencing a lot in practice, and I think it's a very interesting behavior. Because when we look around, I see a lot of people saying, oh no, you can just let AI handle it and it'll take care of everything. That worries me. And it worries me a lot actually. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I really have this hesitation when people say that AI is going to do everything.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Jade, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think throughout our time here at Converte, we're going to explore these things quite a bit. Also, leave us the link to Converte here in the messages so people can check out your website and get to know your product. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Michelle so she can to introduce herself, talk a little about herself as well, and continue the discussion that Jeza has already brought up for us, that in the clinic sector, right, we're not going to fire the secretary, we're going to have AI working alongside her. So let's keep this conversation going. It's starting to heat up.
Thank you everyone for being here. I'm responsible for the company Bluefield. You may have already heard about us in the groups and so on. I'm also in several groups, right? And I've been working for, I don't know, 25 years. It's probably better not to mention these things, but what can you do, right? More than 25 years in B2B sales. And I've done everything from pre-sales to now being an entrepreneur. I have my own company. So I handle both commercial management and the marketing and sales side itself, right? Lead generation, etc. Picking up on what Jessica said, AI really isn't going to replace anyone. You're not going to fire salespeople just because you have AI. I really like to talk about productivity. My background comes from productivity. When I started in the sales world, I started with products, with technologies, Adobe, for example, and Microsoft technologies. And everything we talked about, even as far back as 20 years ago, was that technology came to bring greater productivity, to eliminate tedious manual processes, to remove repetitive tasks, and to make your work much smarter. You'll be able to use your brain and your creativity more. You'll have more time to think, to study, and so on. And you'll be less exhausted than if you were doing manual work all the time. So automation, everything we can achieve with AI. And of course, today we can do a lot. We can, for example, as Jessica mentioned, carry out an entire process of which goes from qualifying the lead, identifying the lead, all the way to actually closing the sale. I saw a video from Google the other day where it could even handle product exchanges and so on. So like manual work, the more repetitive or dumb tasks, so to speak, will indeed make us more productive, and we need to study them. Those of us who are here creating AI projects, developing sales processes, so that these bad processes aren't transferred to AI. Because if we bring a bad process, the AI will also execute it poorly. So we need to think about where our process has bottlenecks, where it's working well, so we can bring that to AI. You can even ask AI to improve it because it will improve, it will give you tips, it will understand how the market is. You can research the market and it will be able to enhance what we need, which is to earn more, sell more, and have more free time. For entrepreneurs who are involved in various groups, running multiple companies, etc., we know there's never enough time for everything. So AI came for this purpose, to bring productivity. And now I'll hand it over to Guilherme, who's the last one left.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going? My name is Guilherme. I'm also in the job market and I have 10 years of experience in operations and customer success. And today I am currently working at TopSend. TopSend is actually a comprehensive and innovative solution designed specifically for list generation, qualification, and also for multi-channel communication. And following up on what Jessica mentioned earlier, and especially, I think there are certain markets where there will be replacement or perhaps not. And that's something we really can't be completely certain about. However, one thing that is absolutely a fact is that professionals who are not using artificial intelligence or AI in their daily work will eventually be replaced by those who do choose to use AI in their everyday professional activities. So essentially, a human will eventually be replaced by another human, the other human who is more productive, more agile, and delivers higher quality. That new secretary, as Jessica mentioned earlier, is significantly more productive than others and possibly also has a much more open and receptive mindset toward embracing new things, changes, and modern technology. These are extremely important skills, both hard skills and soft skills, that the job market, as it continues to evolve, will look at very carefully and attentively, because this professional is continuously learning and using AI to be more productive in their daily work. So I also think there was that analogy from before where two people were looking at a lion in the distance and one of them stopped to tie their shoelaces. Then someone asks, "Oh, are you tying your shoelaces so you can run faster than the lion?" No, no, I just need to run faster than you. So I think that here, as professionals, we need to equip ourselves to, let's say, win this competition and use AI for collaboration. We're not competing against AI. We're competing to be better every day, and with that, to be more productive for companies, generating more value with AI as an ally. I think that's the starting point that I wanted to bring up in this reflection as well. Barbara, please.
Great, very good. Thanks, everyone. I think so for us to keep going with this topic, I'll leave it to Marcelo and me to explore it here, wrapping up with our thoughts on this controversy. My opinion on this is quite controversial, just giving you a heads up. But I agree, and I think that in several parts of this process, there are situations where AI will work and others where, honestly, it's just going to get in the way, right? So especially when we think about enterprise workflows, account-based workflows, workflows that still depend on a relationship, right? But the possibilities are endless for what we have. And I wanted to explore that a bit more with you all now. I'd like to hear from you, Marcelo, from everything you've seen. And I think that you're one of the people I know who uses and tests different AIs the most. What have you already seen that AI can automate and what can't it do yet?
Wow, a lot of things really. I test it all day long. If you look at my history of videos about AI, I'm really an AI fanatic. My credit card is just for AI. No more Netflix or Disney. It's just AI, AI, AI. So I love testing it out. And you touched on a really great point, actually, that I was waiting for someone to bring up. If not, I was going to mention it myself, which is about key account as well. A lot of people, we talk a lot about sales, pre-sales, and Substitute is really helping a lot with that, right? But what about key account, CS, which is post-sales? So it still depends a lot on human relationships. So what I've seen is that the tasks where AI can very efficiently replace, I would say an LDR. I don't know if everyone here is familiar with LDR, which is generating lists, supplying, nurturing information. For the LDR position, I believe that is one of the few roles where we could genuinely trust AI to handle the responsibilities. From the SDR or BDR roles onwards, especially the BDR, who is responsible for outbound sales as opposed to the SDR, which is focused on inside sales, the distinction becomes even more apparent. I would say that with these two roles, there are still a lot of challenges. Many companies are just covering their bases in the sense that they've implemented something with AI, but they have to keep tweaking a lot of things because AI for an SDR, for example, just like Jessica was saying, it works well, but you have to keep an eye on it. There are times when a human needs to be monitoring. So these are things that I think in these processes, I'm not sure if I actually answered your question, up to what point it could or could not efficiently fill that role. I would say very quickly, the LDR, yes, I think from my point of view, is the only production that could be replaced. All the others moving forward, no. No, it's almost impossible, really. As I said before, at some point, you are definitely going to have to fix the mess you left behind with the AI system. Because even James Parker himself, whose automation I personally test, including the way he makes calls and interacts with people, he has a function that allows him to call people directly, and his voice, as well as the way he speaks, are truly amazing and quite impressive. But even with all of that, you can still tell without a doubt that it's an AI, right? It's just something you can't completely hide, no matter how advanced the technology becomes. It still has that polite tone, just like an AI. It has that familiar robotic limitation, just like artificial intelligence. So even when it comes to using artificial intelligence for making phone calls, it is still quite unlikely to be fully replaced. I believe there will come a time, the famous bubble, and there are already many articles about it, when people, companies, enterprises, everyone will realize, let's forget about this topic for a bit, okay? Let's automate what we really need to, but there are some things that are just human. You just can't replace them. because that face-to-face, that relationship.
The human connection, that's a good one. I'll pass it over to Jessica now since she has her hand raised.
Just to add to what Marcelo said, because as you were talking, I was thinking and I thought it makes total sense. LDR is really a position that might cease to exist. And then as you started talking, I thought everything he's mentioning are roles that require people to talk with a person, right? And people are unpredictable. So I think that's the point. AI can learn over time. And obviously, we're just seeing the beginning. It will evolve much more. It will know how to handle things much better. But like I even joked today, I had coincidentally posted something on LinkedIn about this, that even back when it was just bots, Vivo used to struggle. I don't know if anyone knows this story. I heard it from one of the people responsible for creating those flows at Vivo. It struggled a lot because it was a bot that would contact the person to ask if the technician had gone to their house. And then the person would reply like, no, he did come. And what happened was the bot understood the no as he didn't come because it picked up on the first word. So it's a habit. It's called planastic negation in Portuguese linguistics. And it's something humans do because we're used to it. We speak and end with right. We have all these habits we use, and artificial intelligence, I think it struggles with that because it doesn't have full control over what it's receiving. Obviously, in the future, it will be much more advanced, but it's important. And an interesting fact actually is that, I don't know if everyone knows this, but today, at least for now, we have a code of ethics among AIs where if you insist, it can't say that it's a human being. It has to say that it is an AI. It can't pretend to be a person. And the human being can use the safe word to say, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to a human. The companies that have already realized this, they understood that, look, I can let an AI handle things. But if someone says, I want to talk to a human, it will transfer them, just like in the past. And even today, many large companies still use and automated systems that listen to calls and check if the person is very stressed, if they are irritated, if they are swearing. And based on that, she already says, oops, I transferred it to a human over there to handle. So skip the aura. And it will be the same thing with artificial intelligence. Imagine a company that simply decided it would just be the owner and then things won't move forward because there will come a time when the owner won't be able to handle it anymore. I think someone raised their hand here.
I had raised my hand. That's when we're still talking about regionalization. In some places, for example, if you're prospecting in Fortaleza, the guy ends the conversation like this, on pronto. So there are these jargons, these kinds of things that also catch on over there, you know?
Totally. Actually, you just reminded me this isn't something we get wrong just because we're in Brazil. Obviously, it's that we have a lot of different cultures. We're a much more mixed people, but there's a book that talks about Netflix culture. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's called No Rules Rules. And it talks about how he struggled because when they decided to globalize Netflix and started opening branches in various places, he realized that the culture in each place was different. So he struggled with that. Why? Human beings are completely different people. Even here, from state to state, things already change. Imagine from country to country. So he really struggled with that. And I think that today, at this early stage, Yala obviously can't address all of that. But as we're talking here, I even started thinking sometimes we drift off a bit. I think like this, man, just imagine if back then, when the industrial age was just beginning, people had the internet, imagine everyone getting together and saying, do you think machines are going to replace humans? That press over there, I think it's going to replace us. So, you know, it happens. Lots of jobs from the past don't exist anymore. There used to be a job where a man would go around putting out the street lamps. Obviously, that job disappeared when the light bulb was invented. Like Guilherme said, we can't treat AI as our enemy. We're going to compete with it, and we'll have to learn to live with it and use it.
Good one, Jess. Do you want to say something, Michelle?
I'm going to pick up on what Jessica said about Netflix, the vastness of the world, and so on. There's another point I often notice, which is what level of automation and what level of specialization you want, and what is the size of your company, the size of the risk you're willing to take with AI or not. Because if you're a company like Netflix, for example, you need to have your features much more thoroughly and carefully tested. You need to have significantly stronger data security and privacy, much more clearly defined than if you're just handling a small part of your prospecting process. For example, as Marcelo mentioned, just a part of your lead identification and list generation. So when we talk about artificial intelligence or AI, I also like to talk about risk, because we're seeing a lot of things being developed in this area. But I think that in a few years, things will start to consolidate. So we'll have companies that already understand what risks can arise from using AI throughout the entire company or not, and what risks are worth taking or not. Last week, I was having a conversation with an IT manager who works at a law firm. And during our discussion, they mentioned that they have an advanced artificial intelligence system there, specifically designed to read and process information, cases, etc., and suggest legal documents, right? But he said it's really funny how the generations differ, because like we in IT, we as managers understand that AI is fine as long as you set the right parameters, take all the necessary precautions to avoid hallucinations and so on. But the older lawyers won't use it at all. They stay in the office with their books, holding on to that older culture, mostly because that's what they're used to, while the younger ones are there using AI to draft documents. And then, okay, they review and correct them, but there's this generational thing, and also the need to be careful with the company. What level of risk are you willing and able to take, right?
Good point, me. I wanted to add a little something. I think we're still looking at AI mostly in the conversational AI mode, right? Which is the AI for customer service, the LDR, the SDR, right? So I think for small businesses, and here speaking as an entrepreneur myself, I work alone. I have my clients. I'm the one who has to do prospecting. I'm the one who has to sell. I'm the one who has to talk to accounting. It's just me, right? The famous me incorporated. And for me, wow, having an AI that can create a list based on my ICP, set up a multi-channel cadence, send messages to these people, qualify these leads, and schedule appointments, it makes a lot of sense for me. But it doesn't make sense, for example, for a large company, and I'm even talking about clients I'm working with right now, for me to just say, fire your 10 SDRs because now we're going to put AI in everything. So we replaced it in a way that, for example, instead of me having to go there and hire more,